sitting here talking about it. How about 2 weeks of New York telling San Francisco, yeah, you're not us? How about Aaron Judge? How about Carlos Rodon? How about Knicks blow out the Warriors? How about the Nets are very possibly going to do that to a shorthanded Warrior team tonight? How about Carlos Correa all the way down to Brandon Nemo? Damn it, Jon Heyman, who's got all kinds of New York ties. Thank you for coming on. Can you tell New York to stop it for a second, please?
Well, it does seem to be that winter where all these players want to be in New York. I can remember many times where players feared coming to New York and thought it was too big for them or too noisy or whatever. But, way back at the GM meetings, Farhan Zaidi suggested it's not always easy to get players who are not from the Bay Area to come there. And, he looks like he turned out to be correct. Now, in this case, Correa did agree to go there, so that wasn't the holdup. It was something else.
Well, something else is the number one question we all have. So, Odyssey insider Jon Heyman joining us here on Willard and Dibs, and Kyle is in for Dibs all week. John, what happened?
Well, I think only the Giants could tell you that, and they're not in touch with too many people from what I could tell looking at the Twitter. It's either their doctors saw something concerning or they got cold feet or some combination. I have heard that they told people that their doctor saw something concerning, and that is always a possibility. I think, that's probably the most likely possibility, but you never know with these things. I have seen in other cases where teams did get cold feet, and then you can always find something on the medicals. But in this case, they're saying the doctors did find something concerning, and you would think they would want to complete this deal. I mean, after all, they were in this to get a big star. They went for Judge first, understandably so, and it looked like they had gotten Correa. So, I wouldn't see reason why cold feet would occur here.
Were the Mets close to landing Correa before the Giants got him, or did that deal just kind of surface once it looked like the Giants might back out?
Well, originally when the Giants did get him for $350 million, Steve Cohen tried to get in there before anything had been reported, and Scott Boras, the agent for Correa, told him they were down the road with somebody and basically committed to doing a deal with a different team. So he was disappointed. He talked to me for the New York Post about how he lamented not getting in there quicker, basically, to paraphrase, and how he really wanted to get Correa. And so naturally they were, I guess, the natural landing spot once the Giants deal fell through for whatever reason, presumably because the Giants doctors saw something, but we don't know for sure because they haven't said anything. Once that happened, the Mets were the logical team. He talked to me for a long article in the Post about how much he loved Correa and how much he wants to win and committed to the fans. And, I couldn't imagine another team stepping in here this late and offering no more than $300 million. But certainly Steve Cohen is his own man, and he's got his own money, and he wants to win.
Yes, he sure does. This is Odyssey MLB Insider Jon Heyman, and Insider Calls, of course, presented by BetQL. You can get access to data and insights the sportsbooks don't want you to see. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app or visit BetQL.com today. John, also the host of the Odyssey original podcast, Big Time Baseball, along with Cody Decker and Tony Gwynn Jr., covering the entire MLB. And let's talk about the entire MLB right now, John, in terms of how they view the Giants. Based on the analytics, the not wanting to go to long-term deals, the way last season ended, and now this. How do you feel baseball players and agents view the Giants now and into the future?
Well, I've heard they're very good at recruiting. It's not the issue of them putting out the effort and trying to get the players there. It may just be something about the perception of the Bay Area that doesn't appeal to some players. Again, it's a small sample size. We're not talking about hundreds of players here. We're talking about a few star players. And, I am not shocked that Brandon Nimmo went back to New York, even though he's from Wyoming and geographically San Francisco's closer. He was comfortable in New York. And, why take a chance for similar type money? I get that. Aaron Judge has the legacy with the Yankees. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame. Would have been a lot to give up, although the Giants, I think, made a good effort. I think the $360 million turned out to be a very good offer. Didn't quite get it done. I guess it would have been better if they could have gotten it done. But to get it done, it would have been difficult, as it turned out, because if they'd offered $400, maybe the Yankees would have gone to $400. You never know. He clearly, at this point, it's pretty clear that he did not want to give up the legacy in New York, and he's comfortable there. So, we're talking about players who were here. Of course, in the Carlos Rodon's case, he was there in San Francisco, and he has jumped to the Yankees. But I do think the Yankees probably outbid San Francisco on that by quite a bit.
So it sounds like San Francisco had indicated that despite this medical stuff with Carlos Correa, they had indicated to Scott Boras that they still wanted to negotiate and then just never reached out to negotiate. Could that impact their ability to sign a Boras client in the future?
Well, I think agents will always, do the best deal that the player wants to do, no matter what. Maybe today they won't sign someone, but I think he'll get over it. He's been through different disappointments before. I'm sure you could tell by the news items that are coming out on Twitter now. It's pretty clear he and his camp are not too thrilled with the way this went down. But certainly not going to eliminate the Giants, maybe today, but, you can't be a grudge holder if you're representing probably more than 100 Major League players and have to find them jobs. And, San Francisco, to me, it should be appealing to a lot of people. I'm not sure why it wasn't to these few free agents, but, it clearly wasn't to a few of them. Now, Correa did opt to go there originally, so I can't say that he didn't want to go to San Francisco. It was ultimately the Giants' decision.
Jon Heyman with us here on 95.7 The Game. The San Francisco Giants have just released a statement on behalf of Farhan Zaidi. Quote, while we are prohibited from disclosing confidential medical information, as Scott Boras stated publicly, there was a difference of opinion over the results of Carlos's physical examination. We wish Carlos the best. End quote. And that brings to a close I think by word count, the shortest media availability in the history of free agency. Their one-line email yesterday, the press conference has been postponed, followed by this statement. John, here's my opinion. You tell me if it's fair. The Giants are a very analytically run organization. I know many are, but they feel risk averse. Like they're taking analytics to free agency. And if you do that with long-term deals, you could talk yourself out of anything. And so now it feels to me like this isn't about money as much as it is analytics. And if the Giants want to play it that way, they're never going to have nice things.
Well, I understand why you say that, but they did go after Bryce Harper. Came up short there. They did make a deal to get Stanton. They were willing to do that. Stanton declined to go. They have tried. $360 million, as I said, I thought was a reasonably good offer. Or even better than that for a Judge. So, I'm not so sure. They are very analytically driven, but, obviously Larry Baer is there. He appreciated Barry Bonds. I'm sure Barry Bonds stacked up well analytically, but I think there was a feeling in the ownership camp that they needed to be a more interesting team, not just a better team, and they made a good effort on Judge. So, is someone going to say they should have offered $400? I'm not sure that would have gotten it done. Should they have offered $450 for Judge? I don't know. I think that's a tough one. It's a lot of money. So I don't blame them what they offered, and we'll never know exactly here what the situation was. Although both sides are agreeing that there was a difference of opinion on the medicals.
Boy, and the reports are out there, John, that the medical thing that was flagged was something that Carlos had before he was even a major league player. How can you pass that by the fan base when this guy's had such a successful career already at age 28?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor. I just play one on the radio.
Right.
So I don't know. I couldn't tell you, but it's hard to answer that. I get why you ask that. It does seem unusual, but, if somebody has an ailment, sometimes it does take 10 years or 15 years to flare up, I guess. But I really couldn't answer that. But it was not the back from what I heard. And
yeah.
That's been the potentially chronic ailment, but he's been healthy with the back for the last few years. So that's good news for Carlos, but we really haven't gotten all the details on this, and it's probably hard to get inside everybody's mind, but it is fair to say there was a difference of opinion.
Yeah, John, before you go, this is the question eventually we will get to once everybody calms down. And I don't know if there's a great answer, but I'll try to ask you the question and see if you've got one. Where do they go from here?
Well, Dansby Swanson is off the board, so really there are not stars really left. There are some decent players left. There's Evaldi, there's Profar, but they're really Conforto. There aren't bona fide, certainly not superstars at this point, not really proven healthy stars. So I'm not sure on the free agent market. They could try for a trade. We'll see what Boston's trying to lock up Rafael Devers. I think they'll do it, but you never know. Maybe there's other trade possibilities out there, but they were hoping to have a more exciting team and didn't get Judge or Correa. So, the likelihood of being a really exciting team for next year has certainly been diminished at this point.
John, thank you so much for coming on. I know it's a busy time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay.